Can the incomparable Brett Favre even the Packers season? Donovan McNabb is the unquestioned leader in Philadelphia, off to one of the best starts in his career. McNabb and the Birds welcome Favre and the Pack at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
Welcome back to the Blitz, everybody. A battle of undefeated teams. The Chargers off a bye 2-0. The Baltimore Ravens, with a new guy at quarterback for them, Steve McNair, 3-0. Who would come out of the day unbeaten still? Let's go to the big crab cake. You knew defense would be the order of the day because both teams, Ray Lewis and company, Sean Merriman and company, two of the finest in the business. Phillip Rivers, you figure the young quarterback hadn't seen a defense like this, but on the first drive, Antonio Gates battling for 13 yards, and they came out, had him throwing, which might have surprised the Ravens some, Tom. Rivers deep to Malcolm Floyd, and first drive touchdown. How about that? 7-0 Chargers.
You look at this play, it begins with good protection from the offensive line. Rivers has time to deliver the ball, and spot shadow right there. Samari Rolle falls down. Ed Reed, a little bit late getting over from his safety spot. Pretty easy pitch and catch.
Now, Chargers, the last minute of the first quarter. Phillip Rivers drops back looking for Gates, but Bart Scott had a big game, 15 tackles, and how about this pick? Whoop! Making some nifty moves, and boy, the Ravens really move the ball on turnovers too. They're +10 coming in. They don't just get the interception and fumbles, they try to make them positive. Steve McNair, the flip to Daniel Wilcox, and we are tied at 7. Now it's second quarter, San Diego leads 10-7. Nate Kading, the young kicker, 54 yards. It's, wow, is that good? Right down the pipe. And,
don't chest bump.
Right. Kading against Drayton Florence, the loser, Kading. But the winner on the scoreboard, Kading, 13-7. Steve McNair to Todd Heap, third quarter, and the Stormin' Mormon makes a big catch for 28 yards. Then McNair and Derek Mason, so many years together at Tennessee. There he is at the 10. He's dragged inside the 5. And then from second and goal from the 2, the shovel pass, play over. Wilcox stood up by Stephen Cooper. It's a fumble. And boy, this is like, boom, I'm at the wall, I'm done.
Yeah, you take another look at this. Cooper's going to fills the gap, sticks Wilcox, forces the fumble. San Diego picks it up. It's their ball.
And at that point, Marty Schottenheimer feels, but we dodged the big bullet. We made the big play down there, and the Chargers lead at 13-7. They want to get more than a touchdown lead. Kading from 51 never happens because Cyphers, the punter, can't handle the snap. Picked up by Bart Scott. It's a fumble. Chargers have it ruled an incomplete pass, but it's Baltimore ball no matter what.
Would have been an exchange of possession, except that first pass was ruled incomplete, play dead.
And then Jamal Lewis tries to go over the top on 3rd and 1 in the 4th, but he is stopped. Ravens get the ball back 2.5 minutes ago. McNair to Mark Clayton. On many of these plays, he hung into the last possible moment, taking big-time pops, Tom. And then McNair escapes, and he doesn't get, bow! Rumbles 12 tough yards down to the 23. McNair, minute and a half to go. To Clayton, 13 yards down to the 10. And then, tick, 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 2 plays later. 41 seconds. Steve McNair to Todd Heap. Bang! That was Sean Merriman that tried to knock the ball out, but didn't make the tackle. And McNair, Ravens, win it, 16-13. So the Baltimore Ravens are the team that remains unbeaten. They did a good job on the rampaging Sean Merriman. Give Jonathan Ogden a lot of credit. Give Steve McNair a huge amount of credit. Second week in a row, late drive results in winning points. This time a touchdown. Rachel Nichols on offense late.
For years, the Ravens defense felt obligated to score because players weren't so sure the offense knew how to find the end zone. But now, Steve McNair is under center. And for the last 2 weeks, it's been the offense whose last-minute machinations have fueled come-from-behind wins.
I take my hats off to my offense. You know, for us to do what we done in the last 2 drives of last 2 weeks' games, it doesn't get any better than that.
2 minutes ago with no timeouts, you know, you just got to be relaxed and go out there and make every play count. And I think, you know, a lot of people, you know, shy away from that. You know, I live for that.
And while McNair may still not be putting up the numbers that once made him the league's MVP, his ability to win in the clutch is changing the dynamic in the Ravens locker room.
It's not offense versus defense. You know what I mean? It's us versus them. You know what I mean? Let's not point fingers and do all that. I think they've had some of that around here before.
We believe in Steve, and we believe in the defense believes in him, and, you know, we believe in what we're doing out there. So trust factor's grown by leaps and bounds, especially the last 2 weeks.
Players said they could feel the respect level within this team shift when McNair opened the first game of the season with a 9-minute drive for a touchdown. Tight end Todd Heap told me he was happy to see defensive players actually need to start stretching again. He said from then on, they knew we could keep them on the sideline. In Baltimore, I'm Rachel Nichols, ESPN.
All right, Rachel, thank you very much. So Baltimore now 4-0, plays on Monday night the following week at Denver. We'll all be there. Look, they had about 145 yards, Tom, before that 60-yard drive, but they had a guy that knows how to move the ball. That's why he was co-MVP once upon a time, Steve McNair.
Yeah, and I think that what he brings to the game for the Baltimore Ravens, you heard Ray Lewis, you heard Trevor Price, they give kudos to that offense. And what they will find out is that just like we found out in Denver with Elway, the game is never over as long as Steve McNair is in the game. And even though that offense struggled throughout about 57 minutes of that football game, then those last 3 minutes when they really needed, you talked about during the highlights, him hanging in. And I think that Steve McNair knew he had to take some shots in order to get the ball down the field, but he did it. And this was not a possibility offensively for the Ravens last year. So they have something now that they know that they can appreciate.
Yeah, they haven't had this. And on San Diego's side, Tom, this is reminiscent of all those games that they lost last year. I'm not saying that that's going to happen again, but they outgained him. Tomlinson ran for almost 190-something, 97 yards. But again, a tough loss on the road. You're all going to lose one or two of them. But that's what did the Chargers in last year.
Putting them together, it's tough at the end of the year.
And so they got their work cut out. They play Pittsburgh, and they're going to wear the old jerseys in their next game. You're watching the Blitz.
The Blitz is brought to you by Nike.
49ers, Kaiser Chiefs, Trent Green helping out Damon Heward. First quarter, Heward, solid quarterback play. 18-23, 2:08. Chiefs up 7-0, finds Dante Hall. Fourth quarter, this is all Kansas City. First and goal, Larry Johnson, 30 carries, 101, 2 touchdowns. Now 34-0. Still fourth quarter, Dante Hall. He's had 10 kick returns in his NFL career. He'll field this right at the 40-yard line. He finds a couple seams, and that is number 11 on the kick return list. Chiefs win 41-0, worst shutout loss in 49er history.
Didn't do it? Not true, not me. Football now, Vikings-Bills, first meeting since 1997. President Clinton in Buffalo. Hopefully the Bills get better luck than the Ryder Cup team there over in Ireland, huh? J.P. Losman trying to get his team back to 500 here to Peerless Price, who gets up, and the guys with the purple pants, they don't seem much like they want to tackle him. 8-yard touchdown. Bills lead 14-6. Losman 23-32, 222 yards in that touchdown. Brad Johnson throwing his team just 2 of 13 on third down. Here he's picked by London Fletcher Baker. Watch it again.
They really are wearing purple pants.
They really are. They, back in the old days, remember Jim Marshall was running the wrong way? He was wearing the purple pants. Perhaps white guys would be in order. Bills win 17-12.
Wearing the wrong pants. All right.
Lavender.
600 yards and 6 touchdowns combined. Byron Leftwich and Mark Brunell in a shootout Sunday. See why it took overtime to decide things between the Jags and Skins.
Welcome back to the Blitz, everybody. The Cincinnati Bengals have done everything right, undefeated, beat Pittsburgh, and now they were coming home and expected to beat a team that's defined excellence over this century, at least the New England Patriots. Patriots looked awful against Denver last Sunday night, but reports of the Patriots' demise were grossly exaggerated. Here we go, Chad Johnson and the Bengals, Bill Belichick and the Pats lobbing friendly, fun-like barbs back and forth this week. But the lob, that's no lob, that's a dart from Tom Brady to Ben Watson. 35 yards, and then Lawrence Maroney, look at the rookie, in there for a touchdown, and the Patriots lead it 7-6 second quarter. Kevin Falk, so valuable a Patriot through these years, receives a punt, backs up, and then watch Tom was slides past one guy, and kind of an arm tackle there, but a big return for Falk, 43 yards, put the Patriots in business. 2 minutes to go, and Brady, time to find Doug Gabriel wide open in the last 2 minutes of a half. It's always a killer.
Yeah, and you take another look at this pass. You see Torrey James at the bottom of the screen. Eyes are back in the backfield. Doug Gabriel going up the sideline. He thinks he's going to see a stop route right there. By the time Gabriel goes to the end zone, it's too late. James' reaction.
So third quarter, the Bengals trail 14-6. Carson Palmer to TJ. You say Hushmanzada.
I say Hushmanzada.
I say a 32-yard pickup. Here come the Bengals again. That's the combination that ruined the Steelers in the fourth quarter a week ago. Down to the 2 they go, and then Rudy, touchdown, battling his way in. We got a 1-point game, 14-13. Late third. Brady's going to look to Riche Caldwell, but bang! Kevin Casebarn lays him out, and he's called for a personal foul.
You know, I don't think that he hit him with helmet to helmet. He turned and got him with the shoulder, but it was a pretty vicious hit, and the referees ruled it was unnecessary roughness.
Good news, Caldwell playing later in the game. Lawrence Moreeeee playing well the whole game. There's 4 missed tackles on that play. 25-yard touchdown run by the first-round draft pick, Boney Moreeeee. 21-13 New England. Jarvis Green. Not the name you think of up front a lot with Seymour and Wilfork, but Jarvis had 3 sacks, and he almost went to the house with that.
I call this a defensive trifecta. You cause the fumble, you get the sack, and you recover the ball. You're playing by yourself, Jarvis.
The superfecta would be the touchdown. Now, here's former Bengal Corey Dillon, the all-time leading rusher in Bengals history. They get the ball back. We don't want that ball. But I tell you what, it was the Patriots that stomped, literally, on the Bengals on this day. So a close game late third, and it's a laugher at the end. 38-13, the Patriots beat the Cincinnati Bengals. And one thing that you know from New England is that they do not lose consecutive games. They have now tied a Denver Bronco team. And look at that logo there, Tom. That make you feel good.
Yes.
That began in your last season, 76-79, 53 straight games with no consecutive losses. Only the Niners of the late 90s of Steve Young went 60 games without consecutive losses. So before you do anything else, before you add up Super Bowls or anything, you understand that
you have to win.
This is a team. Oh, we had a loss?
That's right.
Well, let's dig a little bit deeper. And this offensive trouble, well, when you run for 200-plus yards, that's going to work.
Yeah, I think when you start talking about what makes this team click, and people talk about, well, they don't have the wide receivers, and I think in certain games that will hurt them, but when they decide that they are going to run the football, and they are going to have success, they ran it for well over 200 yards today against the Bengals. That takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback position, gives them a lot of balance. But the thing that I think they are so mentally tough. That's what they are. Every single week, they prepare the exact same way, no matter who they're going to play, and they play the exact same game. And they don't care whether you're a team that they're supposed to beat, not supposed to beat, give a hard time to. We're just mentally tough, and we're focused on winning and moving on to the next.
They only threw 26 passes this time, ran for 236 yards. Look, this is an evolving, different Patriot team. Anybody doesn't think they're going to have a lot to say about it in the end is foolish. And the Bengals might too, but they learned a lesson on this day. They now have a bye. They're 3-1.
Better learn to tackle.
That might be learning that over the bye. The Atlanta Falcons learned a lesson Monday night. They went into New Orleans, and all that emotion, they didn't look like the Falcons that roared to a 2-0 start. But here we go. Atlanta, could they get back to it at home against Arizona? Matt Leinart on the sidelines was going to start, but then Dennis Green said, no, it's still Kurt Warner. Meanwhile, Michael Vick struggled Monday night, but in this one, to Ashley Lily. And there are 2 Ashleys. Coach Ashley Ambrose. Frankly, my dear, never mind. Vick scrambles out of the pocket for Michael Jenkins. But, Adrian Wilson at the 1. And he could go all the way. Your basic 99-yard interception return. That's the guy with all the sacks last year. Vick threw it, and then what?
Well, Adrian Wilson's going to make the pick. He's going to, pick it off. Great anticipation by him. Go upfield. He runs by Mike right there. And you can see Michael kind of gives up on the play. Look, you're the fastest guy that we've got. Go and try to make a play. Go to try to make that tackle.
Then Kurt Warner's pass tipped by Michael Boley. D'Angelo Hall, we got an interception return the other way. 37 yards, Falcons lead 22-10. So Warner's pass hit 2 Falcons. The second way, hey, that's my guy that did it. Early fourth quarter, same 22-10 score. Michael Boley is the outside linebacker. And he's going to get around Leonard Davis. Fumble! And at this point, if you're Dennis Green, you've seen enough. Roderick Coleman with the recovery. Michael Vick, the pitch to the quick rookie, Jarius Norwood. And Jarius Norwood. And he's gone. From Mississippi State, 78 yards, 29-10. Your basic 6 carries for 106 yards for Norwood. Then, first play from scrimmage, Matt Leinart in early fourth, hits Larry Fitzgerald, first NFL completion for Matt. But then, oh boy, here's life in the NFL. Communication problems with Edgerrin James, so there's a fumble. And as Warner watches, Patrick Kearney had several sacks. Leinart sacked, and then Matt trying to get things going. And again, the game is just so fast. Ball tipped. Michael Boley, who had a huge game. Leinart 5 of 8. And but it was all Falcons. Another day when they ran for over 200 yards. Both Vick and Norwood had 100 yards rushing in this game. Atlanta wins it handily, and Dennis Green afterwards doesn't need to wait to see the film.
We will start Matt Leinart next week. That's not an emotional decision. I had a lot of time to think about it while we were losing very badly, and Matt's going to start.
I feel like I can play, and I know I can go out there and do the job. I just got to go out there and now, get reps in practice. I'm just getting more experience, and I feel like the more experience I get, obviously, the better you play. So, but it's good, a home game, against Kansas City is still a tough team, but a good environment to be, the first game.
Yeah, they'll be rooting for him. Vince Young started on week 4, Matt Leinart week 5. When the Falcons win, Tom, they rush for almost 300 yards a game.
That's pretty good.
When they lose, they don't rush. Not that against the Saints was bad.
I see what you're saying. They run well,
if
they
you
win.
run for close to 300 yards, I am the Swami. I kind of like your chances. So the Falcons, they're 3-1. The Blitz roars on.
Good game here. Dolphins-Texans. David Carr on the horn trying to get something working. Texans 3rd and goal to start the 4th. Texans on 3rd down, 9-16. They're up 10-6. Carr, free ball! Early 4th now. Houston still up 10-6. Mario Williams. There it is. He gets his first career sack. What did he take home for that? Dante Culpepper? Okay, Dolphins trailing. Chris Chambers, touchdown from Culpepper. They're down 2, got to go for 2. Now you pay your quarterback $90 million to throw the ball, and you have your running back throw the ball. Ronnie Brown, what? 2-point conversion, no good. Gary Kubiak, he's a winner for the first time as a head coach. All right, from the pros to the campus we go. The new polls are out. Find out why #1 Ohio State has even more reason to celebrate. Next. Danny.
I'm not switching the quarterback. I don't think that's the answer.
This is SportsCenter.
Defense is the answer in Denver. Why bad weather and untimely turnovers decided things on Monday night in the mountains. Despite losing his 3rd straight game, why Big Ben is closer than you think to being super once again in Pittsburgh. Plus, was this season Joe Torre's last in the Bronx? Straight ahead, a billion reasons why that might be a big fat yes. SportsCenter on television. Teamed up with Steve Levy, I am John Anderson. Thanks for having us. They're playing who's your starting quarterback in Dallas and Miami, while in Chicago they finally have one.
John, same deal apparently in Baltimore. Over the last 50 years, only 5 quarterbacks who switched teams during the offseason led their new team to a 5-0 start. Steve McNair could make it 6 in Denver, where the Broncos had won 11 straight. Monday Night Football here on ESPN. First touchdown wins. It was spitting out. Ray Lewis and Baltimore's D looking to shut down the Broncos. John Lynch and the Bronco D trying to do the same thing. Denver's first possession. Jake Plummer swings it out to Tatum Bell. Wet football, maybe. Fumble. The Ravens' Chris McAllister. Nice recovery before he goes out of bounds. Check it out again. On the replay, you'll see it's Terrell Suggs who strips the ball, and McAllister, like a receiver, got to keep both feet in bounds on the fumble recovery. That would lead to a Baltimore field goal. Next, Broncos drive. 2nd and 16 from their own 34. Jake Plummer, as if his intended receiver was Samari Roll, but he plays for the other team. Plummer, 3 of 8 passing, just 6 passing yards in the first half. Broncos turn it over on their first 2 possessions. Last minute of the half, tied at 3. Steve McNair throws it up for Clarence Moore. Champ Bailey, you might have heard, he's a cover corner. He's a shutdown corner. The guy who can pick off a pass. Champ said afterwards he was surprised McNair went after him there. Under 7 minutes left in the game, 3rd and 7, 3-point game. McNair, he's got time for lunch. Got time for dinner. Looking for Mark Clayton. He's picked off by Darrett Williams. McNair's 2nd interception thrown of the night. On the ensuing Broncos drive, it's 2nd and goal. Jake Plummer gonna float one up for Rod Smith. Tough to defend that when it's executed properly. And the Broncos a 13-3 lead. Final minute, down 10. McNair, his pass be tipped by Gerard Warren, picked by Dominic Foxworth. Pretty nice return, but that was your ball game. The Ravens, their first loss of the year, leaving only the Colts and Bears undefeated. Steve McNair doubles his interception total for the season in this game alone. He threw 3 picks. In this one, he has 6 now on the season. Jason Elam, 2 long field goals, 43 and 44 yards, not pictured here. Tatum Bell, 92 yards rushing, just 43 for Jamal Lewis. 6 tackles for Ray Lewis. Jake Plummer, 65 and 64 as a starter in the regular season. He's above 500 for the first time in his 10-year career. And the Broncos have now won 3 straight since that season-opening loss to the Rams.
As I told our team in the locker room, I was really pleased with the effort that we gave tonight. Our defense played extremely well as our special teams. And offensively, we struggled. We managed to keep on fighting and found a way to move the ball a little bit in that 4th quarter against an excellent defense and do it when we had to do it. And that's what good football teams do.
Yeah, just disappointing that we didn't play better in special teams, offense, defense across the board. You need to play better than that if you're going to beat a team like Denver on the road.
Hey, for all the talk of the Ravens defense going in, Denver has allowed just 1 touchdown through their first 4 games. Since 1940, only one other team has done this. It's the 2000 Dolphins. Miami's D that year, even stingier than the Broncos this season, allowing just 22 points in their first 4 games. Back out to the Monday Night Countdown crew. Stuart Scott, take it away.
Welcome back to SportsCenter's coverage of Monday Night Football on a cold, wet, rainy night.
Well, the Eagles are investigating claims that the ramps leading from the upper level of Lincoln Financial Field swayed on Sunday as the crowd hit the exits. Can't blame that one on Terrell Owens. He hardly rocked Philadelphia's world. Usually one to relish the spotlight, T.O. has swayed the focus now towards his QB. Drew Bledsoe failed to satisfy Owens' insatiable appetite for catching passes. Didn't get him the ball enough. Got the ball to the other guys too often. Despite Bledsoe's 3-pick performance, Bill Parcells is passing on making a change.
I'm not switching the quarterback. I know. So there's no. It's just. This is just a redundant conversation right now.
I know Drew's frustrated. I mean, it's you could just read the paper and this basically it's all on Drew, but really. You could point the finger to the offensive line. We didn't give him enough time to set his feet and throw the ball, bottom line.
We absolutely have to make protecting the football our #1 priority. We're doing everything else. We're scoring points. So protecting the ball is the primary thing that we have to do. Until we do that, we're not going to be any good.
Well, the Drew Bledsoe watch remains worth watching. Understanding the 3 picks he threw in the big divisional loss to the Eagles, also understand he threw for 2 TDs in each win for the Cowboys against the Titans and Redskins. And 1-3 Houston. The Texans drop on into Dallas on Sunday. Now on ESPN.com, Eric Karabell writes that Week 5 in fantasy football was all about Donovan McNabb and no one else. That's now on ESPN.com.
Dolphins coach Nick Saban is sticking with Joey Harrington as his starting quarterback, which is not to say he's trying to stick it to Dante Culpepper, the previous holder of the job. Culpepper and Saban jawed at each other Friday at practice. Saturday, the demotion came down. Sunday, a loss to the Patriots dropped Miami to 1-4. Saban says since Culpepper's repaired knee ligaments and sore shoulder are keeping him from playing his best, he as coach did what was best for the team.
The quarterback issue, guys, it's really not an issue. All right. First of all, let me say this. I confront players on the field all the time. Okay? There's not a player that's been here that's been disrespectful to me. Dante was never disrespectful to me. If I confronted him on the field, I think that's family business. All right, I really do. And I don't think that's anybody else's business. I think that's what coaches and players do. I have done that to other players, and it's not an issue. So this is not an issue. It's not an issue for me. It's not an issue for him.
Well, if you're a Dolphin fan, you're hoping there's a return for Culpepper to his healthy Minnesota form not seen since 2004. Culpepper, one of the better NFL quarterbacks statistically since 2000, ranking 5th in pass yards, 3rd in both TD passes, 135 in passer rating. But until he's fully healthy, Harrington's your guy.
All right, well, sticking with quarterbacks with something to prove coming up, just how close Ben Roethlisberger is to again reminding everyone just how super he can be. And both the Athletics and Tigers were super in their Division Series wins, but which team has the edge in the American League Championship Series? You'll find out next.
Now is the time on SportsCenter when we reset the top stories on the program. That'd be Monday Night Football, Ravens, Denver, and the Mountains. There's Steve McNair. Fourth quarter, 3-point game. McNair, he's flush. He's out of the pocket, he's throwing, and there's Darren Williams with the interception. 3 INTs for McNair on the game. So with 2 to go, those Broncos protecting the field goal lead, looking for more. Jake Plummer, who was not at his best in this game. To Rod Smith, game's only touchdown. Broncos win at 13-3. Lisa Salters on Monday's Letter of the Day, D, Denver defense.
It was the Ravens defense that came into Monday night's game ranked #1 in the NFL. But it was the Broncos D that held firmer, allowing just 3 points. In fact, the Broncos have now done something that's only been done one other time since 1940, allow just 1 touchdown in their first 4 games.
That's all you hear about the hype of their defense and a little bit about our defense, not a whole lot. But, you know, people are going to start giving us that respect when we show up on Monday night and play like we did.
We say we're effective. I think we said that, you know, what defense is going to have to be dealt with, put it like that. You know, we're not going to give anything easily.
The Broncos kept the Ravens out of striking distance for most of the game, allowing just 2 drives to get inside the red zone. One resulted in Baltimore's only field goal. The other, an interception by Champ Bailey in the end zone.
It's just a little film study got me that pick. You know, every time they put that guy in the game, they throw him a fade route. So they tried it on me. Unfortunately for them, I got a pick.
We've been doing probably more red zone reps than any other thing, you know, we practice on. We red zone every day at practice. And, you know, the whole emphasis the whole summer in the training camp was the red zone. So, you know, I feel like all the hard work is just paying off now.
Several players told me that just before the game, Mike Shanahan handed his defense a sheet of paper with quotes on it, calling the Broncos defense soft. No one could cite the source or even remember what newspaper had printed the quotes, but wherever Shanahan got them, they served their purpose. Darren Williams said, "It really got us pumped up when they called us soft. We were fixing to show them who's soft tonight." In Denver, I'm Lisa Salters, ESPN.
All right, Lisa, some important NFL quick hitters for you. Cardinals Pro Bowl wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald out 2 to 5 weeks, pulled a hamstring. The second-year receiver caught 103 passes last season, tied for the most in the NFL. Arizona hosts Chicago next week on ESPN's Monday Night Football. For the Jags, linebacker Mike Peterson, the team's top tackler the last 3 seasons, out for this season, torn pectoral muscle. He's the 3rd Jacksonville defensive starter to be lost for the season. Maybe a turning point for Sean Salisbury.
A lot of great football played on Sunday in all phases of the game. But I got 3 turning points for you that were the difference makers. And let's start with Tennessee at Indy. And let's go young with Vince Young. They're up by 3 in this game and charging on the Colts. Have a look at the throw to Bobby Wade. Could it have been a little bit more of a line drive? Yes. But if Bobby Wade catches this, we may have the Colts at 4-1 instead of 5-0. There you see Vince staring him down. But that ball is catchable right through 2 hands. You got to know you're going to take a hit. And it was a big hit saved by Bethea to make sure that the Tennessee Titans couldn't get that one into the end zone. Turning point number 2, it's the Cardinals hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Matt Leinart to one of the better receivers in the league in Anquan Bolden. What a great hit by David Wesley, not quitting on it. Look at Bolden, gets up in the hole. A nice throw by Leinart, but that is a tough catch. Bolton almost has it, but look at David Wesley's hit. He doesn't quit on the play, hits him, and you're going to see a great angle on turning point number 2. Have a look at the hand, strip it out, knock it out, David. Great job, great hit to finish it. Now, the best turning point on Sunday. We know the Chargers play Marty ball and like to run it. But you know what they did last night? They threw it until the very end of the game. A quarterback made a decision with his feet instead of his arm. And it's Phillip Rivers. Boy, is he coming of age. Have a look now, dropping back. It's 3rd and 9 late in the game. Phillip Rivers tucks it and runs for the first down. Marty Ball's got to love this. He didn't have to throw it. But how quickly the decision was made. Nice protection, gives him a lane. And you watch once he steps up there, there is no hesitation in his decision to run for the first down and protect it. One more time, have a look. Phillip Rivers, get down. That is the #1 turning point in football on Sunday.
All right, Sean, even more NFL straight ahead, including Rex Grossman's explanation for the Bears' 5-0 start and why Big Ben's season will turn around sooner than you might think. Plus, George has wanted to / threatened to fire Joe Torre before. This could be the year. Coming up, why $1 billion could be reason enough.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. Rex Grossman, 2 Sundays into October. He's already set career highs for completions, yards, touchdown passes, and most importantly, career high in starts. 5. Hasn't broken a thing yet. Grossman, the difference in the Bears offense. But what's different in Grossman?
At the end of the last year, played 6 quarters, and really, we had some moments, in the passing game where made some big plays, but it wasn't consistent, and it was hard to get into a rhythm after being out 17 weeks and then coming right back. But we had a great offseason, and that's the big thing. We had a great offseason and OTAs, mini camps, and training camp, all that stuff, and then it just didn't translate to the preseason, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure, but we got off to a good start at Green Bay, and we've been playing well ever since.
That number 8's made you forget all about Vince Evans. After 3 injury-plagued seasons in which the former Gator QB tossed only 4 touchdown passes, had a passer rating of 68.8, Grossman has shown the NFL what he can do when healthy. 10 touchdown passes, 250 pass yards per game, and the Bears 5-0.
Yeah, John, talk about opposite ends of the spectrum. That's not all Ben Roethlisberger's fault, but the Steelers have lost all 3 of his starts. Remember, Pittsburgh's 1 win came with Charlie Batch at the controls. Roethlisberger's passer rating is so low, it doesn't rank among the league's top 30. Hard to believe, Big Ben hasn't thrown a single touchdown pass this season. To go along with 7 interceptions. How's my ratio? He's completed just 53% of his passes. Roethlisberger, who lost 3 games total in his first 25 career NFL starts, again, is 0-3 this season. Oh, Sean, why is Big Ben having such a bad season?
Well, there's a lot wrong with Pittsburgh. It's not just Ben Roethlisberger, but what's wrong with Ben is, hasn't he really played a full season already, physically? The offseason's supposed to be just that. Take some time off, come back and play football. Appendicitis, a motorcycle accident, the physical and mental anguish that Ben Roethlisberger's been through is taxing. Now you get to the field, still trying to get his confidence back, but I promise you, if you quit on the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger, about 6 weeks from now, we're going to be saying, oh, the Steelers are back. Ben Roethlisberger's too clutch a player and too big time to let this continue to affect him. He'll be back, I promise you.
Sean, it doesn't get any easier, though, for Roethlisberger and the Steelers. All of the next 5 opponents have pass defenses ranked in the upper half of the league, including the Chiefs, who visit the Berg this Sunday. KC will come in with the 3rd-ranked pass defense in the NFL.
Blues ice skating with the Ducks came with... All right, Monday Night Football. Steve McNair, Ravens, taking on the Broncos. McNair comes into the game, 3 picks on the season. His team undefeated. In this one, he throws 3 picks, so he matches the season total. Darren Williams latches onto that one. Big turnovers, low-scoring game. They're all really, really big. Broncos ensuing drive from 6-3. They go to 13-3 and the win. So the Ravens unbeaten no more. 13-3 again is the final. Here's Mike Tirico and colleagues. Final observations for Denver.
Guys, at the very top of the game, we talked about how the quarterbacks playing against these defense had to be very fine and precise because 1 or 2 mistakes could be the difference in winning or losing, and it turned out to be that way for Baltimore.
Well, Steve McNair made a mistake at the end of the first half. With the score 3-3 and the possibility that nobody would score a touchdown all night, they went for the knockout to try to get it to 10-3. Champ Bailey intercepts with less than a minute to go in the first half. They compound this in the second half with two very bad mistakes. A terrible punt that only went 10 yards when they were playing field position. And then McNair, on what was really the last essential drive that he had, was intercepted, losing the chance to win the game.
And then Denver had to take care of its part with the opportunities, and Jake Plummer and company did.
Jake Plummer struggled, but he sort of struggles all the time early in everything, but he managed to put the drives together. I thought this was excellent play calling by Mike Shanahan, giving Jake the opportunity to make plays, move him around. That's what he's most effective. And then you can't get away from what you do well. The Denver Broncos run the football. Surprised me so much was this pass to Rod Smith at the end for the touchdown. Chris McAllister never ever looked back to see what was happening with the football. Not that you blame him for it. I think it was an excellent decision, but going for the touchdown, I just love the calls, the execution Jake put together. But Mike Shanahan called that last drive beautifully.
Yeah, I think the whole second half, he really got Jake into somewhat of a comfort zone to go. So this Broncos defense joining the Miami Dolphins defense of 2000. First 4 games, 1 touchdown allowed. That hadn't happened in 66 years in the NFL until the Dolphins did it, and now the Broncos in 06.
I was young 66 years ago.
Back to you.
Lovely. Tough to beat the Broncos in Denver. Broncos have now won 12 straight at Invesco Field, tied with the Seahawks for the longest active home win streak in the NFL. Denver's last loss at home back November 2004 seems unimaginable now. Raiders beat them. Raiders.
Haven't talked to
and you know, just fighting through games and finishing games. And you know, that was just a perfect situation, perfect opportunity for us to go out and kind of show our heart and show how much fight we had inside of us.
Philadelphia scored 3 times. In the past, a lot of people would have panicked. You'd have heard a lot of booing from the crowd, but your head coach is keeping everybody poised.
We felt like with him, you know, leading the way for us, that you know, this was a game that we could absolutely win. And you know, we feel that every time we come out and step out on the field. It's an expect-to-win attitude.
You know, I thought in the fourth quarter when it was time for us to fold it up, that we battled in and kept our heads above the water and came out with a win.
Peyton has told his players that when you consistently win, somehow the next game is always bigger than the last one. The Saints now have their bye week, which they can use to let Deuce McAllister's injured hamstring heal before they play their next big game here in 2 weeks against the Ravens. In New Orleans, I'm Ed Werder, ESPN.
Donovan McNabb entered the game leading the NFL in yards and touchdowns, but other than the third quarter, McNabb struggled on Sunday. The Eagles scored 14 points in the third, but only 10 points the rest of the game. McNabb had only 78 yards passing and a passer rating of 35. Now let's talk about his former teammate. You remember last Sunday, Terrell Owens was barking about not getting the ball straight ahead. What T.O. had to say this Sunday after matching a career best for TDs.
In the uncompromising world of professional grade, there's new reason to celebrate. Introducing the GMC Truck Month lineup. More than mere players, they are rugged warriors with the added confidence of the GM 100,000-mile powertrain warranty on 2007 models. And now pile on extra Truck Month bonus cash. But hurry, game ends October 31st. GMC, we are professional grade.
Now, I don't add real good, all right? But I think based on my math, 11 home runs career, that comes in 70 at-bats, and 7 have come against the Cardinals. Right now, Carlos Beltran is a mistake killer. Couple of homers, the Mets win. Carlos's thoughts after the game.
Nobody goes. The road teams won the last 10 times. The Falcons and Giants have played this one in Atlanta. Advantage New York. Third quarter, Falcons lead 7-3. Warwick Dunn takes the handoff, and
he's so good.
Can you hear that?
What is it?
It sounds like high fidelity. That is the longest run in franchise history, 90 yards for the touchdown.
Makes you want a freaky deaky.
Falcons lead 14-3, still in the third. Here come the Giants, Eli Manning. Jeremy Shockey, first career multi-touchdown game in the NFL. Giants take the lead. Fourth quarter, Falcons now down by 13. Michael Vick got sacked 7 times. This is going to be a sack, but it's going to hurt.
Oh!
That's Antonio Pierce. Come on. A scrum ensues. The Giants win 27-14. Bob Holtzman was there.
You can bet Michael Vick will wake up sore on Monday. Using extra pressure off the ends, the Giants sacked Vick 7 times, sticking to their simple but physical game plan.
Go after him. Just go after him. Hit him. Try to wear him down a little bit.
We knew we had to get some pressure on him and keep him inside because once he gets on the perimeter, the arm strength of his arm, getting the football down the field, as he showed today, that he can't throw it deep.
Really, it was just simple. Just guys contain, keep a cage around him. That was a little call we had. Keep a cage around him. Don't let that guy see open lanes and run because you know what he'll do.
For his part, Vick called the Giants' defense vanilla and said the constant pressure didn't bother him.
Yeah, I never get rattled. They can be violent, but I didn't grow up and been through a lot, so it'll take a lot to rattle the kid. But I'm just gonna keep fighting, man. I'll be in the film room tomorrow morning and doing whatever I can do to make myself better.
Vick says this loss hurts more than any he can remember. You have to wonder if he means physically. Sam Madison says he'd give the Giants' defensive effort against Vick a B+. It would have been an A had it not been for Vick's touchdown scramble. In Atlanta, Bob Holtzman, ESPN.
Tiki Barber, 185 yards in this game, by the way. The road team has now won the last 11 games in this series, the longest streak of its kind in the NFL history. Only the Bengals and Colts, who traded road wins 10 times between 81 and 95, also reached double digits.
That's good information to know about 10 minutes to 1. Battle of Texas, not much of a battle. Terrell Owens, another interesting week. Third quarter, you figured it out there. There you go. Cowboys down 6-3. Drew Bledsoe, Terrell Owens, touchdown. The flag was interference on Houston. T.O. comes over, shakes hands with Todd Haley, the receivers coach he had a bit of a spat with this week. Then it's 10-6 in the third. Bledsoe, T.O. Remember all that talk in the summer about them not hooking up and he was riding the bike? Turned out to be much ado about nothing. Imagine that. And T.O., I love me some meat. And then it's Tony Romo. His second pass in the NFL is a touchdown to Terrell Owens. Terrell had 5 grabs in the game. 3 of them went for touchdowns, and he does his thing. This time he's in a Cowboys jersey, and there's Bill Parcells' thoughts. Here are T.O.'s.
Time and time again, I try to get on the same page with Drew, and we kind of worked at it today, and I told him, dude, just trust me. I know how to play the game, when the ball's in the air, I know how to go attack it. I know how to go get it. Every ball I know is not going to be perfect, but just trust me and just know that I'm going to give you my best effort. And I kind of go out there and let my play speak, speak for me, do the talking. So, I think everybody knows what's expected of each other. We have to be responsible and accountable for our actions, and this was just a great team win for us.
I love me some meat. For the 4th time in his career, Terrell Owens found the end zone 3 times in a game. The last 2 were in Dallas back in '04. He was wearing the jersey of the Eagles. This time he's a Cowboy. Owens, 45 receiving yards. As I mentioned, only had the 5 grabs and only the 45 yards. That's the fewest he's put up ever in a 3-touchdown game, but each time his team's won. That is the bottom line that matters.
The kick is up. It's got the distance. The kick is good! Woo! Josh Brown wins it! Holy smoke! There is a Santa Claus.
Santa, I don't know all about that, but it's like music to your ears, only better. We pump up the volume to the sights and sounds of a fantastic Sunday's worth of NFL action. And Monday night in Arizona could be a beautiful thing if you're a Bears fan. Coming up, who has Matt Leinart sweating his prime time debut?
VJ Singh.
Coming up on SportsCenter at 1 a.m. Eastern, for the first time, we hear from Pat Tillman's military unit. They tell what happened the night the former Arizona Cardinal lost his life in Afghanistan. Pat Tillman's final mission on SportsCenter, 1 a.m. Eastern.
What to watch for on Monday: Bears and Cardinals in the desert. Chicago's outscored its opponents 156-36 this season. Bears 5-0 for the first time since '86 when they opened 6-0. Time now for Mike Tirico and his teammates.
So guys, it's mid-October. We have 2 undefeated teams in the National Football League. Both should be very proud of their accomplishments. Indianapolis is. But Chicago is capturing the country's attention because it's a dominating Bears style of defense and offense. The offense is one story, but Joe, the defense gets the second start of a rookie quarterback in Matt Leinart on Monday night.
Yeah, you just have to think that they can't wait to get their teeth into Matt Leinart. And Matt Leinart is aware of just how good they are. When you sit down and talk to him, he talks about those defensive ends and how quick they get up the field. And the one name he brings up, Tommy Harris, could be an unblockable defensive end in all of football. Our defensive tackle plays in both places. These are the guys that Matt Leinart has to be aware of. It's going to be up to his offensive line to be able to control the front so that he will have a chance to throw the ball down the field and be the quarterback that people are starting to expect him to be.
Yeah, lots of luck with that. This game has the smell of the sacrificial lamb. Denny Green calls Chicago the flavor of the month, and here's why. They are the #1 offense. They are the #1 defense. They're 5-0. They're fearsome. They're drawing comparisons to 1985, and the guy on my left thinks they're going 16-0. No, not out there, Joe. You.
Arizona get a chance to see Edgerrin James, who we haven't seen much of this year since he left Indianapolis. All that on Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Well, the Jets were beaten 41-0 last weekend, hosting the Dolphins, who've been offensively challenged this season. 13-3 Jets, fourth quarter, 3rd and 1. Chad Pennington avoids the rush. He's looking for Lavernius Coles. Found him 5 times in this game. Second touchdown catch for Coles, 20-3. Dolphins answer with 2 touchdowns. Ronnie Brown from a yard out. He had 127 yards. It's 20-17. 2 minutes remaining. Dolphins ball again. Joey Harrington to Chris Chambers. Joey, 27 of 43, 266, 2 picks. Alinda Mari warming up. Is there going to be overtime? Harrington to Randy McMichael, and Chad Pennington had been afterwards. He was thinking overtime. He should have been thinking Norwood, because Mari from 51 yards is wide right. Nick Saban says, well, I can't tell you what he said. 2017 Jets. Lions hoping to capture some of that Tigers mojo and beat visiting Buffalo for their first win of the season. Second quarter, Bills down 10. J.P. Lossman, he's scrambling, looking downfield. Roscoe Parrish, touchdown. Lossman, 2 touchdowns. Bills make it a 10-7 game. John Kitna threw just 1, but it was a big one. Final minute of the first half, they are celebrating in Eberg. Roy Williams, career high. 10 catches, 161 yards. And look at he gave the ball to the kid in his jersey. That's cool. 17-10 at the half. 2 seconds left. Fourth quarter, Bills down 3. Lossman to Lee Evans. Hook and ladder. No. Rod Marinelli gets his first win. 2017 Lions.
After dropping 2 to start the season, Carolina looking to reel off 4 in a row. It was a short day of work for Steve McNair. First quarter, Ravens trailing 3-0. McNair sacked by Chris Draft and Mike Rucker, and he would leave the game with a concussion.